All right, let's get in the kitchen and cook. Big Friday ahead. We got a lot to do today. And people, I want to let you behind the curtain a little bit. I want to let you know how things work on this show from time to time. So Rico and Kenny are like, hey, we got a great story. We just can't tell you about it. I go, what the hell does that mean? They go, we need to open the show with something. It's breaking news. It's an update. And, we want to surprise you. I go, great. So what I'm going to do, this is like one of David's trust falls at church, or like where they put the hands on the people and they look like they're, shaking about, and, the lady who was in a wheelchair stands up. That's going to be me. I'm going to do a trust fall. I'm just going to fall back and hope Kenny and Rico catch me. So, boys, let's kick off a Friday. It's Surprise Theater. What do you got?
Well, Michael, good Friday to you. And there's been an update.
You sound fantastic.
Why, thank you. All right, well, there has been an update, but not an update to the Mozzie Smith story, an update to the Michigan State players from the tunnel incident story.
What now?
Yes, they basically had their, pretrial arraignment today.
Have we assassinated and executed all of them yet?
Not yet. 5 players were arraigned Friday on misdemeanor assault charges stemming from the altercation in the Michigan Stadium tunnel. It was Tank Brown, Angelo Gross, Justin White, Brandon Wright, and Zion Smith. Each received a $10,000 personal recognizance bond, which means you're free to go so long as you promise to come back. But then here's the other things that come in there. Players are ordered to have no contact with each other only for football purposes. Outside of football purposes, they must have their lawyers present. They are also ordered to have no contact with Michigan football team, Michigan football coaches, or the University of Michigan. And, they're essentially banned from visiting the city of Ann Arbor. On top of that, here's where, once again, there's some discrepancy. Because in the original story written by Tony Paul in Detroit News, the original story had they talked to the lawyers for the players and said that the Washtenaw County Prosecutor's Office asked Garwood, the judge, to impose drug and alcohol testing for the 5 players facing arraignment.
Oh, come on.
The judge did not require that. And then Washtenaw County Prosecutor Eli Savitt claimed that was categorically false, in quotes. The box for drug and alcohol testing was unchecked on bond forms, Savitt said. The condition that the prosecutor's office requested, he said, included, here's where it gets ironic, no firearms and no contact with alleged victims.
Well, we all know helmets and fists are more dangerous than firearms.
Yes, if you're ever going to rob a bank, make sure you bring in a loaded helmet.
All right, but hold on. See, this is where, and I am certainly not a lawyer, but I don't need to be to say what I'm about to say. I don't know the prosecutor from a hole in the wall. All I know is what I have seen, what you've shown me, and what I've read about, okay? Mm-hmm. Someone needs to start asking questions, because this is the second time in as many days he's had to come out and he's either been contradicted or, like, for instance, yesterday, he wasn't arrested at the scene. Ann Arbor police, he was. And we awaited your go-ahead. Oops. Now today, this was requested, drug and alcohol. You want to talk about an overreach? That is a wild overreach to me. And he comes out and goes, no. That box was unchecked. Look, I'm just at a point with this. How can the bond conditions for a tunnel fight at a football game be more severe than for a guy pulled over for speeding who didn't have his license and had a gun?
No driver's license and no gun license.
Right. Help me understand it.
Yeah, make this make sense to me, because it doesn't.
And that's, look, again, I want to be very clear about this. Mozzie Smith could be a wonderful kid. The guys in that tunnel incident could be good kids. You had an effed up night. The point I'm making is none of it matters. But how can one be this monstrous overreach. I think at a minimum it comes across as incredibly heavy-handed.
It does.
Incredibly heavy-handed.
And
then
wait, hold
when
on.
it involves a Michigan player,
Yes.
we're going, hang on, he got pulled over at almost 10 a.m. The team has a game in Indiana the next day, which means you're flying out of Metro. That's a 45-minute drive at best from Ann Arbor.
Flight takes off at 3 p.m.
Right. How did he get from being taken to jail, processed, get out, make the team plane, play at Indiana? And then you start factoring in and you go, okay, how can one case be handled this way and his case seemingly be at the complete other end of the spectrum, meaning 7-week delay for charges, meaning no suspension, meaning a level of privacy that I'm just blown away by. Because I said this to Kenny. You know, like when TJ joins us at 3 o'clock, here's my first question to TJ. TJ, if you got pulled over for speeding with a gun and didn't have your license at Eastern, would you have been suspended? Yes or no? It's a really easy conversation. So I'm sitting back and I go, you know what? You can't win.
No.
Can't win.
No, the 5 Michigan State players are in court there, each charged with 1 count of aggravated assault, a misdemeanor which faces possible punishment of 1 year in prison and a fine up to $1,000 or both. The other players, Jacoby Windman was arraigned earlier this week, and the 7th player, Kari Crump, faces felonious assault charges, and he will be arraigned. He was also arraigned earlier this week.
Yeah, and again, Crump is the one I can't defend at all.
No.
You go wildly swinging a helmet, you can really hurt somebody, you might kill him. You know what? I said it from day one. He had something coming to him.
Right.
But the rest, it's a grotesque overreach. The idea that 4-game suspensions, look, the whole thing from the beginning felt like a railroad job. Harbaugh in on it, Ward in on it. And when I say in on it, what I mean is they took to the podium and they were concerned trolls. Mm-hmm. And they clutched their pearls, demanded action,
They
stoked
basically
the fire.
They became Karens. I'm calling the cops. I need justice. I need it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I walked into Starbucks and called the barista a bitch. Why is my macchiato not coming out?
Right.
I'm calling your manager. Right. What are we doing here?
Don't you know who I am? I pay your salary.
I just really think it all I can say is you can't prove anything, but I can tell you what it looks like. It looks like you got a prosecutor who's on the U of M payroll, who teaches at the school, who goes to games, who has Go Blue on his social media, who is a fanboy, and it sure looks like...
Well, and that's what the lawyers for...
The Michigan players getting preferential treatment.
And that's what one of the lawyers said, that he believes that there is implicit bias from the prosecutor's office and the court because, you know, he's an alum, and Savitt's response were, these cases were charged based on evidence in the law. There's nothing more to say about that. We've been treating these cases just like any other.
Yeah, but then you got to square the circle on things like why you're saying he wasn't arrested or was arrested, or why the 7-week delay. Why did the Ann Arbor police basically come out and go, excuse me, Mr. Savitt, you're not putting this on us?
Right.
Why did they do that? They all but begged people to FOIA the footage.
Yeah.
So why that's my point, is that there just comes a time where adults need to get involved and go, okay, can we ask a few questions here? Can we just get some answers here? And that's where I get disappointed in the real journalists. Like, I have never purported to be a journalist. I'm not. I'm in the entertainment game, the interesting business, as I call it. But when you're a reporter and you are a journalist, you are the first person to really hold that above people and go, well, I'm a journalist. You're not. Well, then act like it. Mm-hmm. The journalists need to get the answers. And that's not directed at any one person. That's just directed in an overall deal. Like, you know what's fascinating? If you go to ESPN.com, you can't find this story. I'm serious.
No,
you can't find it.
I can do you one better, Mike. BTN.
And understand. Yeah. Step back for a minute. Rico, I apologize. Just let me get this out, and then you do whatever you want. I didn't mean to tread on you there. I want you to think about Michigan being one of the big brands. Take USC, Notre Dame, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State. Team captain, felony gun charge, headline. That's a big story. Mm-hmm. Yet, and I get it, people who are paid by the school, people with a logo on their paycheck, I get it. You're between a rock and a hard place. But, like, can we just be honest about it? How is that not on the bottom line? How is BTN not talking about it?
Well, that's what got
they'd
me.
rather interview.
Yeah,
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Dude, the BTN gave me a breakdown of Cade McNamara going to Iowa. And I'm like, so we're not
Which, by
even
the
talking
way,
about this.
Great job by you. You've been talking about that for 3 months. That's a Rico Beard special right there. You go, that kid belongs at Iowa. He's perfect there.
Yeah. I mean, the handwriting was on the wall. Great defense. They just need somebody who won't trip over themselves walking out on the field.
Go ahead, take that check down. Punts a win.
Right.
But no, I just, Rico, I'm not yelling about it, and the listeners, I'm not yelling about it. But, I mean.
No, for me, it's make this make sense because it doesn't. At some point, you would think that they would just walk in and say, okay, seriously, guys, what are we doing? We're wasting taxpayers' money. Are we really about to go ahead and try these guys? They're banned from, contact with each other unless it's football-related stuff. They got, they're getting paraded around like they are hardcore criminals. And
right.
And what gets me is boys will be boys and people make mistakes, except when it comes to these guys. These guys, yeah, they were a part of, of some terrorist plot to take down the country.
No, and understand this, too. And I just don't have – we talk about data points all the time. I talk about having data points for teams, right? Well, it's no different here. I don't know the last time a guy had a felony gun charge and didn't get suspended, or openly had his coach double down and go, but he's a good kid and we're going to the museum. He's going to play this weekend. Like, Michigan fan, understand something. I have infinite respect for your football team. They're really good. They are really good.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I have to like everything about it or I have to somehow turn a blind eye. What I'm saying to you is you're going to beat Purdue regardless. How the hell is Mozzie Smith playing tomorrow? Can you help me understand that?
And it was the double down.
He didn't pay a price in the regular season. He's paid no price. None. Right. I just don't understand that, and I think Rico put it best. That's why he got into Harvard and I didn't. I didn't apply. Besides the point, help me make sense of it.